the music station Double C. That's number 2 tonight for the second week in a row. It's The Colt and Little Devil, produced too by Rick Rubin from the Beastie Boys. With Mubsy on the top 5 at 9, the number 1 song again, third week in a row, his label outfit Retro, and It Just Takes One.
It just takes one.
Doors around, so open the doors around.
Ross Fotheringham, Peter Floyd, David Gallanick, Michael Cipriano and Paul Wesley Smith make up what some people have called the hottest young band in Canberra, Retro. In this video we're going to explore the history and possible future of the band, from their humble beginnings 2 years ago here at Kaleen High to the present day and beyond. Retro's ex-music teacher at Kaleen High, Lindsay Neske, explains her first contact with the band.
When I first met them, they were in Year 8, and I detected at the beginning of Year 8 in one of my guitar classes that there were a couple of people who could play guitar a lot better than everybody else. And I could tell straight away that they had private lessons.
We all started in Year 9, wasn't it, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It was a class sort of thing too, wasn't it?
No, not in Year 9. No,
Oh, that's right, in Year 10.
yeah. It was really, we've got some footage on video actually for the concert where we all played together. Actually.
Yeah.
But it was,
quality is
Left to be desired.
yeah.
well,
Well, wait. The actual start in Year 9 minus moi. I was not in the band, it was previously.
it was only in that last concert that Wesley was.
We asked Michael's mother, Mrs. Cipriano, Retro's #1 fan, when Michael first showed an interest in music.
Well, since he was a little toddler, he used to have this toy guitar, and started from there in primary school.
When did he first play in a band?
Oh, it was in a Kaleen High, yeah. But they sort of, in a primary school, they played in assembly with Peter Floyd, and they were great then.
All right.
Yeah.
There was also, in Year 9, another group of people who were starting to play more in excess type music. And that was Paul Wesley Smith. And he'd managed to find a drummer somewhere in the school. He was desperate for a drummer. So he went raking around, came up with Galeen, who was the only one who could play any drums to any decent standard. So there were these two bands by the end of Year 9, two rival Year 9 bands, who were each one of them better than the existing Year 10 band at that time.
About your music teacher, was she a big inspiration for you?
She was, she taught us a lot of things. Some not to do with music, some to do with music. But I think we learned a great deal from her.
So they were making really, really good music. About halfway through Year 9, they started on Jump, the Van Halen, right? And that was done very carefully. That was done note for note in the keyboard solo. Ross learnt that. And Floyd took a while to get around to the Van Halen solo, but he eventually got it. And that, by the time they'd got that piece, it was obvious that they were going to be pretty good come the end of high school. They had another year to go, and I still had, at that time, Year 10 pop group in the curriculum, so they were able to have a lesson every second day. And when you have a session of music playing every second day, and it's productive, and you're only 15 years old, you're going to be taking an awful lot in that's going to stay there. was never mind a band, it was a core. It was a core of that class. And of course, being in that class, the 2-year 9 bands that had existed couldn't possibly exist. They'd weeded themselves out to make that core, that perfect core of people who understand each other musically. I was impressed with both bands.
So when did they become one band?
Well, you see, they started sharing each other. They had to. If they wanted a really good singer for one song, they had to perhaps look over at the other band and say, well, put it this way, they were always willing to be making music, and whoever happened to be hogging the room at the time had it, and the other ones would bust to get in and just do something, just participate in some way. So they'd started sharing members.
Canberra announcer Peter Mobbs has been instrumental in supporting Retro. He explains his first meeting with the band.
It was really funny actually. It's when they come out to the station. Did you just come out to the station first or ring me up? Or just roll up? Just roll up, yeah, just knocked on the back door and said, you know, we've got a demo tape we want you to hear. I said, no worries, put it on, and it just blew me out. And then I dragged them down the other studio next door and just had a chat with them and then dubbed it onto one of these things so we could play it on the radio and played it. That's how it started.
What happened in year 9 was these guys were in that room every night after school, sucking me dry. I mean, I had to be there. And I would scream and yell and they would fight. Year 9 boys are just hormones. Nothing but incredible hormones. You should see them. It's the bits.
She can understand adolescents.
When they're armed with instruments that can play at between 100 and 140 decibels of sound and they're mucking around, it's awful.
They put on lunchtime concerts and that sort of thing.
Yeah, at the end of the year we had one.
It's pretty cheap.
Social thing.
It's the only place you could play.
30 cents.
In about August, I think, or September, the Delroy High School from Dubbo came to visit us, and we had a gig lined up for the disco that happened on the Thursday night that they were here. And everyone set the instruments up in the gym, and the year 9s came on first and did their 3 songs, ending with Jump, and they just sounded magnificent. The acoustics of the gym are brilliant. They sounded fantastic. When the year 10s came on afterwards, they found that the year 9s were a terribly hard act to follow, and the audience found that too. So that already, that shone.
We played, actually at the start of 1986, I think the second thing we did, we had a lunchtime concert, and we played at Dubbo. Went to Dubbo.
We went to Dubbo.
Big gig at Dubbo.
We have photos of that with my red tie and red hat. Really, I was
his little friend.
Somewhat of an idiot, you know.
His raspberry beret.
They were musically quite capable of doing everything themselves, working out the songs. It was usually my job to work out all the chords and give it to them the next day, but these guys could do that themselves, which was nice. It took away that. It meant that songs were half practiced at home by the time they got to school. That was the best part of it. They practiced their own parts individually, instead of me having to bark out, right, you know, now you lot do that together, 1, 2, 3, 4. They would just sit down and be able to play a song.
Did you ever hear the Just Takes One on the radio?
Oh, you ask me how many times?
How many times would it have been?
Oh, every time they played. And at home too.
And what did that feel like the first time you heard them on the radio?
Oh, good, really good. You know, I felt proud of them, very proud.
Well, Retro were number 1 for quite a long time on the top 5 at 9 with Just Takes One. How long was that exactly that they were on there?
Oh, God. About 3 weeks.
3 weeks? Yeah. Do you think that was just friends and relatives ringing up, or was there a real interest?
To start it was. It always is on the show like the top 5 at 9. It's sort of 3 people like a band and start ringing up. But then when people start hearing it, they start to get to like it, and then they start phoning up.
Right.
So, yeah, at the start, you know, I liked it a lot, so I sort of put it in there as well. But then people started hearing it and they're going, wow, they're a local band, a Canberra band.
Right.
Let's support them.
Just Takes One, your first single, is a very powerful song. Has it got any meaning behind the words?
Well, I suppose it is about the arms race. I'm not quite sure, but
It is.
I mean, it just takes one to start it. You know, who presses a button.
The band do a lot of covers by bands like Midnight Oil and Spy vs Spy with a strong political message. How important do you think it is that a band has a social conscience?
I don't know, I just reckon they should rock.
US bosses kick that now. The little set back for your country. Bombs and trenches all in row. Bombs and threats still left for more.
There's some dispute about where Retro, once known as Metalworks for the way the whole band wore braces, actually got its name.
In backward motion.
I mean, it's having sex.
Sounds
No, it doesn't. We just picked it.
It just sounds
Margarita just said retro, and then we decided, yeah,
There's always a time in the life of a school rock and roll band when they have to think up a name. And it's always at the last moment. They have to run around saying, God, what can we call ourselves? We have to have a name to put on the form to enter Bandamania. They didn't have a name because they're too busy just doing it, not talking about it. And so somebody, was it Michelle?
Margarita.
Came up with retro.
Speak of the devil.
Yes. Which I thought was the absolute opposite of what they were. They were not backwards at all. They were very forward.
You gave the
So it
names
was a very
backwards.
appropriate name.
Ir-
As a play
ironic.
on-
Ironic.
Yes, irony then. That's right.
And what about Bandamania? You won it, did you? When was that held?
That was held last year, about this time, I'd say.
And you won? What did you play on the night?
We played our instruments.
The Bandamania was really good because they knew they were good and they didn't have to be in a heat because the other band who would have been in their heat dropped out before it even started. So Retro were to be the great surprise act, and all the other schools knew that there was a band that had won by default one of the heats that they hadn't had the advantage of hearing, even though they knew damn well that Retro were there every night and having the advantage of hearing them. So the other competitors felt, perhaps, I don't know this for sure, but I'm sure they felt a sense of, or detected some mystique about this band. It was magnificent. And we were told afterwards that within five bars, I was told by one of the organisers, it took 5 bars of the opening number for them to win that contest. They wouldn't have had to bother, except of course they bothered.
And what about your first recording? How did that come about?
We won that from the Bandamania contest. It was one of the prizes.
And we were not impressed.
And is that the recording where you first did Just Takes One?
No.
No.
We only recorded...
Just Takes One in the previous holidays.
We recorded Just Takes One and I Don't Want to Go Out, 2 current hit singles in the beginning of the May holidays. In the first week, at a cheap studio, just on a nature
Cheap
track.
but good.
Cheap, but turned out reasonably cheap.
One night, me and Paul went into 2CC and we showed Peter Maltz a tape and he was really impressed. And then to our surprise, he actually told us that he'd play it on that night, and he even did an interview with me and Paul, which we were equally surprised with as well. And then from that, people just kept on ringing up, to play it again and again, and we were all real pleased.
It's a practice with most bands, nearly all bands in any Western country. Beatles, everybody starts off as a cover band. It's just a normal practice. They do that to get their sound right.
Actually, the first song we did as Retro was the famous bald-headed End of the Broom. Yeah, you faggot. I don't want to go.
Was it I Don't Want to Go?
No! Yes! No! Shut up. I don't want to go.
One day I was in Pro Audio watching Frank demonstrate a guitar to one of their customers, and he just did something, little E minor, up 2 frets, same E minor shape, up 1 fret, back again. I thought, that sounds cute, because I'm into that kind of slick, slow stuff. So I said to Ross, I said to everybody, do something